study the atmosphere believe that they'd be able to surely spot any kind of signs of an ominous plot.
The little picture is from a nanofabrication study, which shows you can make very high quality, do this in just a jet in a very simple way, make high quality aluminum particles just by spraying them in radioactive substances. So certainly in principle possible to do that. There's a big literature that's already.
So seeing the first ingredient in that patent is aluminum.
Aluminium sulfate, strontium, barium salts, boron, lithium, strontium, lead, mercury, arsenic, it's all up there. And these are just a few to mention. Asthma is up. They're putting it down to pollen, but it's nothing to do with pollen. You're not suffering from hay fever, you're suffering from these chemicals, breathing these chemicals in every day. Look up, none of this is natural. If you look up to the higher stratosphere, you will see that none of this is natural. These milky looking, creamy effect clouds are not natural. It's time you started to wake up, because it's time to take back your lives.
I mean, this is the biggest elephant in the room.
And by the way, it's not really a moral hazard, it's more like you riding on a ride.
And it's becoming more obvious every day. Look at the way the contrails persist and become an entire white blanket over the whole sky.
And by the way, it's not really a moral hazard, it's more like you riding on a ride.
Look at this photograph of the sky. I thought that the clouds looked a little strange when I took these pictures. But then when I saw a plane go through the cloud and leave a void in the cloud that lasted for half an hour or so. Planes don't leave holes in clouds. They're just not clouds.
Aerosol geoengineering looks like it is so cheap that the cost is basically not the issue. That means that implementation decisions will be risk-to-risk decisions. The risk of doing it against the risk of not doing it. And it makes the problem of how we govern it fundamentally harder to deal with.
We're being controlled. Oh well, it's time to wake up, people. Time to wake up.
And by the way, it's not really a moral hazard, it's more like you riding on a ride.
Contrails change the amount of sunlight and energy that pierces the atmosphere. There's several articles that I can show you. So the phenomena of changing how much sun gets and energy gets into our atmosphere that heats it up is printed every day. It's just printed in such a way as to not say this is a tool for climate change. It's saying it is in fact a phenomenon that will in fact change the climate by reducing the amount of sun that gets into our atmosphere. Geoengineering is one of the things that are on the table, and it'll probably be on a large enough scale that it'll be pretty obvious to everybody.
And by the way, it's not really a moral hazard, it's more like you riding on a ride.
I bought 2 little webcams and then 2 other mini DV Canon cameras. No tripods, stuck them out around the house. And then I bought 2 computers and time lapse software. So I could get north, south, west, and then east.
But what free-form aluminum oxide does to our environment is devastating.
What I caught after 4 months in was in about 25 minutes, and I'll show it on the video, is a series of flights And what happened was one plane was coming along, it was a relatively dry day in April. A plane would come along and only a little bit of the trail would stick. Only a part of it remained visible. What was curious is that another plane came along and hit precisely the middle of that segment. That's odd. And then another plane came along and hit the end at an angle, not bisecting it, perpendicular, but off at an angle. And I thought, well, right now, there's something they're doing with geometry. And observed with the time-lapse camera was that the atmosphere had literally been layers.
And by the way, it's not really a moral hazard. It's more like rewriting.
So when I look at parametric contrast, you're telling me,
Yeah, that a contrail would be dissipated.